So the bartender turns around, says, "What are you, some yellow belly horse molester?"
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. Oh, hey, welcome to OUTLAW Saloon. Today we're going to talk about an old West myth, legend, and all-around badass, Bass Reeves.
So grab that mixed drink, whiskey, or cold beer, pull up a stool, because it's story time at the OUTLAW Saloon.
Let's go. Hey y'all, welcome back to OUTLAW Saloon. I'm Jason.
My name's Ovi.
Today we're going to talk about the one and only, the legend, real life Lone Ranger, Bass Reeves.
The Lone Ranger, guys. Can you believe that? There was an actual Lone Ranger.
He was. The Lone Ranger is based off of Bass Reeves. Everything pretty much about him, which we'll get to here as we talk about it. But let's go into some Bass history, I guess, starting off with Bass was born in 1838 over in Crawford County, Arkansas. He was then running with William Reeves.
He was owned by, actually.
Owned by.
Yeah, so he wasn't running with them. He was actually owned by.
Not running
Well,
with him.
not with them.
Yeah. So he was with William Reeves, and William Reeves was a politician and whatnot. He took his family and some of the black people he owned, and he transported them all over into Texas.
Right.
After that, he then, what?
Well, at that point in time, William had a son named George.
George, yep.
So
George
Bass Reeves becomes George's bodyguard and valet, whatever I need, you get kind of deal, because, that's just...
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it was back in the day, So when George decides he's going to go fight for the Confederacy, guess who's got to go with him? Old Bass Reeves.
Bass Reeves got to follow along. Yep.
He ain't got no choice, can't say, you know what, I don't believe in it, I don't want to do it. He's got to go.
No choice. So he goes off with George over in the Civil War. While they're there fighting and whatnot, they have a bit of a falling out over a card game. This is pretty bad. Bass kind of picked up and took off. Headed off to Indian territory.
That's right.
Hung out with Seminole, Cherokee, and Creek Indians.
Yep. Learning the language.
Learned the language.
Tracking.
While he was there, he honed his shooting skills. He was very good at shooting. He was, what would you say?
Ambidextrous.
Exactly that.
He was ambidextrous.
Right. Both hands. Makes it extra cool for the West. So, worked out great.
That means you could drink beer with either hand.
I could do that.
So you're ambidextrous.
I don't know if I could shoot, though.
Well, if you could use both hands, you're ambidextrous.
I'm ambidextrous.
At beer drinking.
Can I put that on a resume?
We'll try.
I'm going to try it. We'll see if it fits. And learn how to spell it. So then it goes from there to where are we at? So he takes off. He's hanging out with the Indians. He's honing his craft and his skills and whatnot. And then he ends up, going back to...
Well, the proclamation... I can't say that word.
Emancipation Proclamation. So that happens around 1863. 63. That happens.
And if we're wrong, I'm sure our producer is going to call us out like he does in all our other videos. He's going to probably tell us that we're wrong, and he's going to make himself look good by putting. He is.
It hurts, man. It hurts.
Right here.
Right? When you see that, it hurts. But we roll with it. That's how we do. He's a bully.
He is a bully.
What are you going to do?
But you know what? The more we drink, the more I like.
The more I forget about it. That works for me.
It does.
So during this time of his freedom during the EMAC Proc, he's running around and he ends up going back to Arkansas.
Yep.
Settles down as a rancher. Kind of stakes claim there and ends up getting hitched. This is back in 1875. Around there?
Yeah, I think you're right.
1875. So he's doing that. Gets married.
Gets married to a woman named Nellie from Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
From Texas, exactly.
And they have 10 kids.
10 kids.
10 kids.
They must have been really bored.
Well, they're farming. Back in the day, the more kids you had, the better farming hands you had out there working.
That's good thinking. I should do that so I get my house cleaned faster.
Yeah.
Right? Let's do that. All right. We'll work on that. We'll talk about that later.
Good luck to you and your missus there, I guess.
I won't go good. So, and so he ends up in 1875. He's there in Arkansas running around in Fort Smith. Isaac Hayes, the hanging judge himself, gets himself elected. So now he's the hanging judge of Fort Smith, Arkansas. He taps into Bass Reeves' skill of tracking, hunting, just knowing the land pretty much, just kicking ass. So he hires him to be the first U.S. black marshal ever.
Right. Actually. So now, mind you, before he became that, he was what they call a what do they call him? A posse man.
Yeah,
was a posse man.
Yep.
So what that meant is he was just a right-hand man to the U.S. Marshal, kind of the you go get him, I sit here kind of deal.
Kind of did the dirty work.
So
you got your foreman and you got your labor. Pretty much is what it was.
Yep.
So he'd ride along with the marshal and he kind of took care of that and would help the marshal's track and find these fugitives and track them down.
Right.
And so Isaac Hayes found a talent in that in Bass and wanted him on there. Problem was, Bass was illiterate, couldn't read. But what he did have a knack for was studying images.
Right, memory.
So
he had someone actually read to him the actual warrants. He memorized them, memorized the picture. So whenever he went out and actually executed the warrants, and mind you, he was given through his duration of his U.S. Marshal, which was 30 years.
Right.
He was given 3,000 warrants.
3,000 warrants.
And every time he went out and actually executed the warrants, he never made one mistake. So, the guy that he was after on that piece of paper is the warrant that he presented and the guy that came in with him.
Which is very impressive in its own when you're studying a wanted poster off of a sketchy drawing of whatever this person looks like.
Right.
And he was able to memorize that, figure it out, and track the guy down, I think just by talking to people and figuring out. But
well, according from what I've seen on the internet, and I'm sure you've seen the same thing, back in the Old West, people sucked at drawing.
Yeah, they were not good.
Because they were not good. It's like a 5-year-old with a freaking black crayon trying to draw Black Bart. Everybody looked the same. But, he figured it out.
He worked it. He made it work. So, he started over 3,000 warrants.
3,000 warrants is career. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he did a lot by really outsmarting these fugitives more than just going in guns blazing. He would go undercover. He would dress up as...
different personas, different people,
a fellow, fugitive looking for housing, knowing someone's held up in a house. He'd work his way in there, and once he's in, or even with a gang, bust him, take him down. So it was really cool. He was really smart. I think he innovated that really, as far as I know.
Well,
from my research.
He was one of the ones that really used to his advantage. If he actually did that or not, I don't know. But he used it to his advantage. He made it work for him.
He made it work.
Because back then, no one expected a black man to be a U.S. Marshal.
Right.
So of course, he walks up. You don't expect him to be the law.
No.
He's just could possibly a guy running from the law.
Threw a lot of them off too. Yeah. So that worked out in his favor. Very good. So
right.
Yeah. So now.
Now we come down to about 1907.
Okay.
So Oklahoma becomes part of the United States.
Right.
And when that happens, old Bass Reeves, after all that hard work, after all that time in the field, can no longer be a U.S. Marshal.
Right.
They take his badge. So the only thing the man could do at this point in time is become a peace officer for the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, so he became a peace officer there for quite a while, actually. Serving out the rest of his days until...
Right. So, he became part of the U.S. territory in 1907. In 1909, which is only a few years later, he was diagnosed with Bright's disease.
Which is inflamed liver?
Kidneys.
Inflamed kidneys. So Bright's disease back then was inflamed kidneys. So
right.
He was diagnosed with that.
Can't go doctor in that.
Nope. So that was pretty much...
That was the end.
What got him.
So in 2010, the man passes away.
2010?
Right. No. Yeah, you got me on that one.
Wow.
No. It was 1910.
So Bass Reeves is also a time traveler.
Well, the flux capacitor does many things. But I don't think it did this one.
You do this a lot. I'm noticing a pattern with you. Like, guys, you like time travel, I guess, because all these characters,
I don't like time travel, but I do like beer. And for some reason, beer and time do not coincide.
It all blurs.
It all blurs in. You start mixing time with beer, and that's gonna happen.
Yes. Okay, so back to
1910.
1910.
Let's go to time. 1910.
Okay.
He passes away.
Okay.
Done. That's the end of his career. So years after he passes away, it's like 1933. The first broadcast of the Lone Ranger pops in. So now this is where we start talking about the intro, the real Lone Ranger.
The real Lone Ranger.
You know,
Bass Reeves is known to ride a white horse. And he was a tall guy. He was 6'5", 6'2"? 6'2", tall dude for back in the Old West. Right. And he'd roll up in this white horse to serve his warrants.
Did he roll up?
Ride up? Roll up, ride up, same.
I'll go with it.
Show up on his white horse.
Show up on the white
horse. He would dispense some justice big time. And in doing so, like the Lone Ranger was said to pass out silver bullets. Well, Bass Reeves would actually pass out silver dollars, silver coins, so he'd pass those out instead of silver bullets. So you got the white horse, you got the silver plane in there. In fact, Bass did ride with Indians, an Indian tracker, I think. There's one.
A scout.
A scout that he was really tight with. Thus, Tonto came into play.
And another thing that the Lone Ranger had was the moral compass.
Yeah. Which Bass Reeves did have.
He did. He really did. You know, with the Lone Ranger, it was, the law way. Mm-hmm. That's all it was.
Right.
There was no, how about I give you a little money, a little something, a little beer, and you go about your way.
No, he was very down the line. He was so letter of the law, in fact, that he had a conversation with his son sometime back in the day, where his son was having problems with his wife because his wife was cheating around on him. Mm-hmm. So Bass was kind of like, well, you need to talk to her. You need to put the line down and be like, this ain't cool. You need to stop, whatever. Well, son took that a little, maybe too much, and went back and ended up killing. So his son killed his wife.
His son Benny.
Killed his wife, and then fled.
He's gone.
Yep. So now there's a warrant out for Benny.
Yep.
And out of respect for Bass, because he was just that guy. He was very stand up, and he, after all of his years and work, started gaining respect of other lawmen. They went to him and said, hey man, there's a warrant out for your son because this is what he did. And Bass said, all right, I'll bring him in. And he did. He tracked him down, talked to him, brought him in, and his son Benny served some time in
he was actually convicted of a life sentence. He was given a life sentence,
it was life sentence
by the hanging judge,
Isaac Hayes.
So out of respect for Bass, he did not get the gallows. He actually got life in prison. And then halfway through it, he was exonerated. You know what? You're set free. You served your time. You served your time.
Yep.
Go.
And he ended up turning his life around and
lived the rest of his life just a good citizen.
Good citizen by and law, yeah. So it worked out good for him,
right?
In long run.
So we've got the Lone Ranger and Bass Reeves roll with the scout, an Indian scout, because back in the day, in order for you to go serve a warrant in the Indian Territory, you had to have a scout with you,
right?
Or else, of course, warrants were not valid in the Indian Territory. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. There's that beard talking again.
Right. I hear it.
So he had a scout. He rode a white horse. Mm-hmm. He was ambidextrous. Carried 2 Colts with him.
Yep, just like the Lone Ranger.
Just like the Lone Ranger.
Passed out silver instead of bullets or coins.
Yep. So all that being said and done, not every guy. A lot of the people that Bass incarcerated ended up in this one prison. All right.
Right.
So now you guys could go back, read all the bio on Bass.
There's so much more on Bass Reeves. We're just introducing you guys and giving you guys a heads up on who he is, what he's about. You do your own research, you're going to find out a lot more fascinating facts about the guy. He truly was he's an icon, man.
Yeah.
He was a legend. He was really in a time of lawlessness, and you got a guy that is stand up, doesn't even care. He wouldn't even turn on his own guy for any price, whoever he was running with. He was very stand up. When you get guys like Wyatt Earp that are fascinating characters, I'm a Wyatt Earp fan myself. I love Wyatt Earp, but Wyatt Earp was kind of a crooked son of a bitch too. He wasn't exactly stand up. He was not. They post Wyatt Earp up to what Bass Reeves is.
Right.
And that's incorrect, man. When you look up Bass Reeves, you're going to find out there's nothing made up about this guy. Nope. It's all legit. It's all real. And this guy was just straight, did his thing, and was by the law. The law is what mattered. He said it. There was a quote by him. I can't remember now, but he said the law, it ain't much, but it's all we got. Or it ain't perfect, but it's all we got. It's something like that. Look up the quote. It's fantastic. But
it was a great quote.
It's
by a great man.
By a great man. It was really fantastic. So, yeah. So definitely go in, check out some Bass Reeves history.
And check out history of the Old West. I mean, you're going to find out that there are so many characters, at this time in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, there was like 25% of the cowboys were actually African American or Mexican or of different races. Because, of course, at this time, everybody's coming over from different parts of the world, to the Old West to make their living, to make their money. So, the Old West is just filled
with characters that that the light
never
shined on them that it should be, and definitely like Bass Reeves is kind of one of those characters where he's kind of getting well known, but he's still kind of in the shadows. He's not really like I don't think he's out there as much as he should be, to be honest with you. I think more light needs to be put on him. I think I was gonna say a movie should be made about him, but there actually is, and it's called Hell on the Border.
Right.
Which we should actually check that out.
I think our next video will probably be the review of Hell on the Border.
Hell on the Border. We should do that. In fact, we watched that and we had a friend of ours, Chris, and he's more, not our producer Chris. He doesn't care. This other friend Chris we have.
We all know producer Chris don't care.
He doesn't care about anything. But with this one, he's more into, our other friend Chris is into the mob genre back then. The 1920s, 30s,
40s, 50s kind of. Yeah,
Al Capone and whatnot. He's more into that. He doesn't really care about. But we actually, he was hanging out with us when we were watching it. We're like, hey man, you should check out. This is about Bass Reeves. This is a movie finally made about Bass Reeves that I think you'd like too. And let's check it out. And it hit.
I think he liked it.
It hit a core with him. I think on a different level.
Yeah, I think he liked it.
Yeah, and it kind of turned him on to just Western genre in general. So I think it might be kind of cool if we have him on maybe next week. Maybe we can talk to him, pick his brain as an outsider coming into it, and like what did it mean to you watching, like seeing a Western that you can actually kind of connect to and like get his opinion on it.
Yeah,
see what he thinks.
That's a good idea. We'll reach out to Chris, and find out if he's willing to come down, sit down with us, and give us his opinion on what he thought.
Right, especially on Bass Reeves. It really started to core with him. So I think that'd be great to talk about this movie with Chris. So we'll see if we can drag him in here next week. See if he'll talk to us and just hang out.
We'll ask him if he wants to come on down.
See what he says.
You never know. Maybe we'll have other people besides Chris later on come on down and give us their opinion on maybe a movie that you guys recommend us watch.
I think that's a great idea.
So leave a comment down below on what you guys think we should watch, and then maybe we'll get somebody who's not really into westerns, maybe a friend, a neighbor, a drunk, and
we cover them. I think most of those.
Yeah, I think we're all of that.
I think we're all of that.
But yeah, we'll get somebody down to kind of give us their opinion on a movie. Maybe it'd be great, maybe it won't be great.
I think that'd be fun to have an outsider that's kind of new to the Western genre or new into it, or what they found fascinating about it, or what kind of clicked in their head for them to want to see it and check it out. I think that'd be kind of neat. So we'll figure it out. We're going to see as we go. We'll do what we can. But I do think our next video we'll do a review on Hell on the Border. And in between, check that movie out. It's definitely worth a watch. It's finally something that gives Bass Reeves the spotlight he deserves, because he's not in, I don't think, anything I've seen since this. I think we watched documentaries on him, on Lifetime and everything else. We've seen those, but to see a movie made like, and I don't want to get into the movie, the actor, I think nails him. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, don't get too far into it.
No, I'm already getting excited. I'm already getting excited. Bass Reeves is badass. So, all right, y'all, thanks for hanging out with us, man. We hope y'all picked up what we're saying, kind of found interest in it. Again, look it up for yourself. See what y'all thinks. There's so much more on Bass Reeves.
Do your own research, guys.
Yeah.
And then comment on the comment below.
Put in the comments below and see what you think.
If we got it right, if we got it wrong, so comment, share, like.
I think this time we got a lot right.
I hope so.
I'm thinking.
Well, we'll find out when producer Chris actually goes by and
later.
I'm pretty sure he'll tell us.
We will try to do more research going forward, but I think we did pretty good on this.
You know what? Part of the internet ain't never wrong.
It's never wrong.
They ain't never wrong.
I get all my info
Same here.
through the internet.
Yep.
That's it.
And the internet don't lie.
Nobody. I went to a history class and I was like, I called the guy. I said, "You're a liar. That's not what Google says," and I just left.
Good, because Google don't lie.
I made a statement.
Google don't lie.
I threw my hat down, but I picked it up and left. This guy. It's dumb.
So, all right, guys. I think it's gonna be the end. That's gonna be the end for now. So you guys come on back for the next video, like we said.
Check us out. We got another one coming. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're going about as we do, and we're gonna bring another bio and story about another Old West character.
Story time at the Outlaw Saloon.
Outlaw Saloon will do it. So thanks for hanging, y'all. Check us out and Outlaw up.
I think video got to end because I'm out of beer.
Oh shit! Refill. Let's get some.
All right, guys. Have a great one.
See ya. Become part of the Outlaw family by liking, sharing, and subscribing.
Leave a comment below. Let us know what places we should go, what movies we should check out.
Click the link below, get yourself some merch, and Outlaw up.